nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Grimminger.
Here.
Alderwoman Codwell. Here. Alderman Couch.
Here.
Alderman John Stupi.
Here.
Alderman Jokers.
Here.
Alderman Hook.
Here.
Alderman Donnie Stupi.
Here.
Alderman Prince.
Here.
Alderman Ruzicka.
Here.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Approval of the agenda, we would...
Move to approve.
Wait. Before we do that, we'd like to add, under personal appearances, the St. Genevieve Community Access Television. We'd like to add them third there. Okay. No, not yet, Gary.
Okay. It's pretty soon, but not quite. Okay. I'm working on it.
So, Randy, what you want?
So I've moved to approve with the changes.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we order personal appearances. First, Gina from Cochran. There she is. Jenny. No.
Hi, I just wanted to give an update on the second phase of the water main improvement project. About 2 weeks ago, we got the approval from DNR for the construction permit. And so since that time, we've gotten the construction stakeout done, and they've made the connection at Chadwell, and then they've put in the main on Wiener and have started on the main on Riverview. So just wanted to give you that update and see if you had any questions about this phase of the work.
So, I mean, another week or two, and the whole thing probably.
Yeah, well, they have once they get the mains in, they have to do the testing and do the service connections and all that.
That's right.
And then, of course, they'll do the pavement repairs and the seeding once the weather is appropriate for that. And then they'll also go back through the areas in the first phase, and if there's been any settlement in the trenches, they'll clean up those areas and reseed as needed.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Kara from Downtown Renewal Project.
Good evening. 2 months in a row, got a report into you guys. That's pretty good. Anyway, just want to report that for our chocolate walk at the beginning of February, we did sell out of tickets. It's our first event ever that we have sold out of tickets for. We sold out of them just after noon, and we estimate probably 50 to 75 more tickets could have been sold had we had them, but we will always limit events to 300 because it's just a lot for merchants to ask to put 300 chocolates or cookies together. So we had some visitors up from Arkansas, lots of great feedback. They were all very positive. It was a really great event. So our art walks starting tomorrow, and it's the Mardi Gras theme. We have themes set out throughout the whole year this year. And we're still working on our partner and sponsorship. It's going pretty well. We've not had anybody just flat out tell us no so far, so that's been really good that we're still rolling along with that. And we are seeking board members for organization and design chair for our board as well. So if you know anybody that would be interested in doing that, let me know. And we're working with the chamber on a few events and have decided to do a liaison position on each other's boards to be more included in each other, and working for some events this fall together. So, any questions?
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And now Gary, now you're up.
You know, I had a board meeting about a month ago, and we was talking about how long this presentation I'd have would be, and
Did you hear that report that just kind of went in front of you?
It doesn't have to be that long.
yeah, I'm judging it right now. Well, yeah, at our board meeting, we had said that, hey, we'll just surprise you out with a 5-hour presentation. We'll get you out of here. But anyway, Martin said cut it down. So anyway, this is our first meeting this year and presentation to the board of what we're doing downstairs at the station. The reason I printed this up, it'd just be a lot faster. It gives you a list of what our projects have been and what we expect to do this coming year. Some of you that are not able to attend downstairs or see what our facilities look like, I've put some prints of what the station looks like downstairs, all the different studios. Our budget, actually this is the first year we've really had a budget that we could really look at. Our treasurer's report was very sufficient, but we just wanted to make it a little bit more simpler to look at. And of course our budget is for 2006 is what you see there, and a portion of that, it shows us how much it would cost each month for us to operate. Do you have a question? Yeah, okay. Some of the improvements, since we invested over $18,000 last year in having our setup downstairs improved, and it has come along, and we're still learning all the ropes and the tricks and everything of setting it up and being able to use what we've got available. We have updated our equipment. We're also, we have, well, it'll give you a list, options of establishing apps for viewers for iPads and so forth. We've never been able to do that, now we can. And we're learning the tricks of the trades of that. Our projects, we have a grant application to the St. Genevieve County Community Foundation. Of course, that will probably come in later on, whether we've been approved or not. We just don't know. And that's into their hands as to whether we can really accept or we'll get the grant. And that grant, that money goes directly to all new equipment that we're shooting for and that we really need. This is our second phase of improving our station's equipment availability. Other plans, we've established a training program for those of all ages. It can be somebody that's retired, it can be people that are really into videoing and filming, and we will be able to teach that to you all free. We have the facilities down there. It's for the public, people that are interested in doing something like that. We can teach them now. Other plans is that one of the main projects is to change our image a little bit on the website. We need to update that. That website is just so old right now, and we'll be changing that. The last is that we are working with the local high schools in providing education for them to train to do videoing. And we've got one already, student already that's working with us in the school. And they will be able to receive credit, education credit, when they graduate if they want to go to college that has a requirement for media. They will do it. They will be accepted. Okay? Any questions?
Is there like 2 or 3 other students up there that are interested? I think you've made contact.
Yes, we'll have probably about 4 or 5 more students coming in another month from the school.
Available to Valley also, didn't you?
Oh, yes. Yes, it's available to both schools.
Okay.
We just haven't had a chance to work with Valley because it had some changes, so that's one thing. But it's available, and we've talked to them about it.
Gary, I don't have any questions, but I just think you guys are doing one hell of a job.
Oh, well, thank
I
you very
think you
much.
guys are doing great.
They're very dedicated.
You know, you have come a long way in the last 5 or 6 years. Unbelievable.
I appreciate it, and I know the staff does too. We've got an excellent team of board members And what surprises me that everyone that's on that board can video. Use cameras and video, and they have done it for the station on their own. So, I think you have any more questions?
You might touch on the website here at the bottom, it says it went from 500 views to 1,300 views a week. Yeah, so that's being accessed pretty often.
Well, yeah, it is, but it could be a lot higher. And we've got to change that site to make it more appealing to the community.
Gary, how much focus do you put, like what percentage of focus do you put on stuff that you're trying to get onto the internet as opposed to stuff you're trying to get on TV, or is it just the same?
It's basically the same. What the internet, the website, what it does is just like a follow-up. If you see it on TV, $9.91 or $9.90, normally within a 24, 48-hour period, it will go into your website and it will go into your videos and demand storage.
I say that because when I ask people, people ask me, what happened to the meeting? I said, well, didn't you watch it? Why not cable? We don't need cable. It's going to be on the internet just in a day or two.
Yes.
And they're all there, so much information there, and I think what you guys are doing is fantastic. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Good.
All right.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
Martin, thank you.
Okay, so FEMA had their public assistance meeting, which is kind of a kickoff meeting that you have to go to. And so I attended that. At some point next month or so, they're going to have the meetings where they come to town and meet with us here to go over. I had originally thought that our costs were relatively low. Then Pam was bringing to my attention, like maybe we can get the legal fees included, which I don't know if they're eligible. When you start adding all that up, we will be over the $3,050 threshold you have to be over in order to apply. So I think we'll have an application for reimbursement. It's an 80% reimbursement. We met today with the Bear Engineering, who's going to be doing the construction inspection on the trail project. And I should have put trail project in there so you know what it was for. He met with Citizens Electric, MoDOT was here, the AT&T and Charter, because they all have lines. The schedule for that project is going to be dependent upon Citizens Electric's schedule for the pole relocations. There are 2 poles that have to be relocated. Although the contractor could start before we get that information. Once he goes, he's got 90 days to finish. So if he started and then Citizens Electric's delayed in doing their poles, and his clock doesn't stop running. So he'll make a decision, and we'll make a decision on notice to proceed based on Citizens Electric. But probably, my gist was, he doesn't want to wait until they do the work, but once they give him a date, then we'll all feel more comfortable, proceeding. I think he needs to start as soon as he can in the north end of the project, because 90 days from now, that could be underwater. So I think he realizes that, but right now it's too wet from the last event to actually get in there and lay concrete. Jenny already covered the water line construction. 7 members of our staff are now certified for CPR. We attended training, 3 from the Welcome Center and 4 from here. And so we have the AEDs that the police department has. They have 3. We're going to just move 1 up here, so it'll be available to them or us. And we're getting new batteries for it. And then we'll need to, right now, the Welcome Center has 1 that we're borrowing from the health department. We need to return that. We need to replace it. They cost about $1,600, so,
No, I'm sorry, you can do a lot better than that.
There are grant programs too.
I mean,
for
you can
those.
pay cash, $800.
I saw some $600. That's kind of a question of, the ones that everybody here has the kind of the
Automatic-
computerized, yeah.
automated
A layperson could
instructions.
operate it
Yeah.
without any training.
Yeah,
But yeah, I could get them cheaper
well,
without that.
please just look
Yeah,
hard,
okay.
and whatever you decide, I'm sure it'll be the right
Grants.
thing.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the person, maybe I can find it, but someone had come to the cafe a while back handing out applications for these grants, and I suggested that she go to the Welcome Center in City Hall.
Yeah,
I
never
guess she
saw
did
it.
not, but I'll try to figure out
Okay.
who that was.
Who do we get our uniforms from, for city employees?
Airmark.
They probably have, I'm sure they have somebody that would love to sell an AED, and the other uniform companies, Z Medical, there's a whole lot of people out there. So it's, I think we can,
Well, I'm also going
We
to
can
go
get a good deal.
through buy board.
well,
Yeah, but-
is that always the cheapest, or is that sometimes more expensive?
Well, they bid. It's a bid. It's bidding.
Okay.
You put out a proposal and you
Okay.
can get bids from them. At Seymour Regional Planning, speaking of grants, at the meeting, they've got some planning grant money, which I'm going to apply for to finish the comprehensive plan. There's a Homeland Security grant that's coming out, which does infrastructure, critical infrastructure, that I think we could maybe get some assistance on. They're also, we're kind of trying to look at money where we can help develop a park playground. MoDOT's got a program. It's 55-45, grant for equipment. And all the other grants are targeted. So you're targeted to a specific income, targeted to a distressed community, targeted to, ethnic groups. And so you kind of have to have that set of circumstances in order to apply for those grants. But then we, at the park board meeting, I can't think of the name of the company, Little Tykes was there. She's agreed to put together a plan at no cost, and then we would have something we could adopt in a model would follow. It would call out the proper equipment for our community, and at least then we'd have something we could pursue. But she mentioned that there's some money available if you use recycled materials, like for the bedding, and so we'll be looking into that. From time to time, there's been discussion about security at the front, because we take money and we really haven't had the resources to enclose the area. We are going to look into, and Eric has looked into, panic buttons. They're a little pricey, but in the interim, Eric's going to hold a training on pepper spray, and the employees who kind of at risk will be trained on its use and have it available to them in the unlikely event that they would need it. I've been here going on 5 years, and I've only had to come out twice in that time to talk to a citizen who was a little loud or unruly. Dave and I and Gary went out, and you know how we get flooding on Washington at 3rd Street, from that creek, and there's a drainage structure there that was put in that has a manually operated gate, which could be used to mitigate some of that flooding. But you have to know it's going to rain and when it's going to rain, and be out there ahead of it to close it at the right time. So what we're looking to do is put a pipe extension out of that box where the gate is mounted, and with a flat valve on it, and they manufacture these spring-loaded valves, and so any water that's on the south side of that levee trying to get into the creek will be allowed in, when the creek comes up, that gate will close, and the water, the backwater can't flood that area. So as long as it stays in the banks of the creek, it's not gonna flood the.
Has somebody got accurate elevations on the pipe and where the flooding occurs? And, I mean, excuse me, during the last little go-around with the potential flood, there's a lot of conversation about that, and I heard a lot of people saying they knew exactly what it was, and they were all different. So, I mean, have we shot the elevation to make sure that at least the pipe's gonna drain? That it's, how much water's gonna get there before it starts to drain?
The pipe's above the flow line of the creek. I mean, it's 8 feet.
No, we couldn't see it then because it was all flooded.
Yeah, you can see it now.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, there's no question, it's got
Okay.
positive drainage.
10-4.
You said third, are you talking about second, maybe? Where the road there?
No, I'm talking about Third.
This third, right, it's kind of down.
Third and Washington.
Yeah.
And then
Third
it
and
floods up towards Second.
Yeah, that's what
Right
I
in
mean.
front-
So
in
that's
front
where
of
it's
the-
coming from, when it floods at Second Street?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just a low spot. That's just, that pump that they put in there really helped the folks out that live right there. So at least we know if we get that bad again, we can do something to help them.
Right. But this would keep this wouldn't have
Right.
stopped that flooding.
Right.
This didn't-
Nothing
It came out of the banks of the
Yeah.
creek and then.
Yeah,
But this would,
yeah.
if the creek was up and there was enough water behind it where it was the same level as the
Right.
creek, at least that gate would be closed and we could because the other part of this was getting a pump ourselves that we could put down there and get rid of that water quicker than the pumping station would get rid of it. Right?
And I'm thinking that pump might be the Homeland Security grant.
Well,
Because
makes
it's
sense.
flood mitigation.
Makes sense to get a substantial enough pump.
Well, you can't, it won't do us any good to get, I mean, we need a diesel.
Yeah, 8-inch,
15
6-inch,
horsepower.
at least 6-inch.
Yeah, we can't put a 4-inch pump in
No.
there, that's never gonna work.
We had applied, as you recall, for you authorized it, I applied for a grant to match the $10,000 that you budgeted for tree replacement with the Community Foundation. We did not receive that grant. The last two items, it didn't happen because of the weather. And, the meeting with Citizens Electric didn't happen because they're fighting power outages all over the place. And the meeting with Datacom was delayed because they didn't want to have to drive through the snow, which, as you all, I mean, it was incredibly spotty.
We were fortunate,
Yeah.
for sure.
Place that had 8 inches, and but Citizens Electric, the topic is going to be replacement of all of their lights, not the decorative lighting, but their lights with a LED lighting. And it will be an energy saving.
But that's no cost to us.
No cost to us.
Okay.
But I've read, there's a lot of literature, a lot of controversy right now in cities going to LED lighting. Because while it saves energy, it has a different wavelength than the red light. It's a blue light, and it contributes to light pollution. I don't think it's a problem for us, not something that we need to be overly concerned about, but it is a problem in a lot of areas. And so it's not without its downside. It's just
What exactly is light pollution?
well, if you go into a rural area and look up, you can see stars and
Right.
the moon and the sky.
So you're
If you
saying-
do that in an urban area, you can't.
Because of the intensity of the light? Okay.
And so, if you're interested, like in Flagstaff, Arizona, there's a nearby NASA observatory.
Right.
And if Flagstaff converts, which they're proposing to do, the halo coming from Flagstaff would obscure, they wouldn't be able to use the telescope.
Wow.
Now, you can mitigate that by putting
Right.
reflectors on and directing the lights down, and I don't know if Citizens is considering that. I suspect not. We would benefit because we pay our light bill. So, I'm thinking we're going to go along with the program, but maybe we'll talk about some of these other
Martin,
issues.
we have one of these where now?
We put one in one of our decorative lights down by the gauge the gauge on Main Street.
Okay.
And it's just way too bright.
Yeah.
No-
Is it? I haven't been down there
Very
yet.
bright.
If we'd certainly change the character of downtown if we put those lights in.
So won't the street lights do the same
What?
if we replace those?
Too bright,
All the-
you mean?
Yeah.
Well, I think there'd be a whole lot of difference because those are way up and pointing
Yeah,
down.
I'm
where
curious
those are
about
just-
them being up higher, how that's gonna affect how harsh that light is, as opposed to one of the decorative.
See, they make different
No, but
types of.
they're not really asking us anyway. They don't have to ask us to change our lights. They're just gonna do it, right?
Probably.
I think we have some.
But I can influence, I mean,
Yeah, I
It's
think
their
we have
lights.
some, yeah.
But there are a lot of variations on those. I have them on the outside of my building.
Thank you.
And they have a filter on them. They're a very soft light. It's not harsh at all. So, I mean, they do make different
and they
types.
come in different wattages and they go.
Oh, yeah, it's, right.
So maybe, you know, if we have concern about
So
the
they-
downtown,
they-
ambiance of the downtown area, we put a lower wattage bulb in.
Are they going, just a silly question, which you don't know.
We haven't
I should
met yet.
apologize.
But I'm glad for the questions, because I need,
Are-
it'll help me tomorrow when I'm meeting with them.
Are they going to do this all around town or just in the downtown area right now?
No, they're talking about replacing them all over town.
But the,
Not in the downtown
Downtown
lights.
area, okay, right, all right.
Not in our
Not
decorative
in the
ones.
decorative lights.
Okay, that was going to be my next.
Because I don't know, that bright white light compared to the orange light, just the orange light's a whole lot warmer and more, I don't know,
Yeah.
appealing than that
Right.
bright white light. I hope
Yeah.
and I know the LEDs, heck, you can change colors on them a lot of times. So I don't know, when it comes to the lights downtown, we'll have to give that a little bit more thought, I think.
And they keep coming out with new things all the time.
Yeah, so. And that cost probably on us though,
Yeah.
to convert those.
You gotta buy that thing that sinks.
And finally, and, you know, but you have to do an analysis of the energy savings versus the cost, and it might pay back in 5 years or something, be worth doing.
Right.
Although it's not been officially announced, everybody has heard, many people have heard, that Petrie Powell has notified us that she cannot continue to serve as the Community Development Director because of personal reasons. And although she's pledged to work the extent that she can work to get a transition, a smooth transition, and Carla Bullock, who is a valued employee of the city, was offered the position. Carla is here tonight, in case anybody who doesn't know her. That's, waving back there is Carla. And it's starting yesterday, or whatever the first, you know, but she's continuing to kind of do double duty until we kind of make the big switch. And then I'll have to replace her position with someone competent to do that work. And that ends my report. And Carla or I will answer any questions you have.
I'd be doing everything with the P and Z and the Heritage Commission, the whole,
shooting match.
you got a little education to go through, don't you?
Have you done a background check on Carla?
Thank you, Colin.
I've heard some things
Just stand
about
up and turn around so we can.
Little ISO thing.
All right, any other questions? All right, then we'll go into the other reports. Matt from Alliance is here.
Matt?
How you guys doing?
All right.
Well, we got everything back together and in place, and after the flood, moved everything. I don't know if everybody knows, when the possibility of the levee letting go or topping, we had to move everything from our maintenance facility and from the wastewater treatment plant, as it would have been underwater. Glad it didn't happen. Gave us a chance to do some spring cleaning and a little repainting and readjustments of how everything fits. So we're back up to full swing and a little bit better than we were before. So that was a major undertaking.
Did you find anything you didn't know you had?
We did. We found things we looked for before. We sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that gives us an opportunity to
actually go through and inventory everything we have, know what we have too much of or not enough of, and we're pretty close to what we need, but I did order a few stock items, clamps and things that little more aware of what you have when you've moved it twice. So that was our biggest concern. We've already been over the water project. Actually, as of today, they have moved up Riverview a short distance. Went up and helped them find a few lines and kind of touch base on it. They're really moving along. Everything looks great. They're doing a good job. I'm very pleased with Drury personally.
We had some discussions because the money's really tight. And when we did this, I spoke to Drury and said, we need change orders. This is what we have to do it. And he said, well, I think we can do it for less than that anyway. So based on their performance on Wayner, it looks like it's moving along ahead of schedule.
Yeah, they do. They don't mess around.
And under budget?
Under budget would be good.
Okay.
Yeah, hopefully. But so they do a good job. They're professional. They have questions. They get with us and we help them where we can. And so I have no complaints with Drury. They've done a really good job. Easy to work with. Went through all the emergency lighting at the water treatment plant. I changed most of the lights around the doors to LED lights. We were talking about lights. Replacing batteries. They've got a certain life that the emergency lighting batteries live. We really don't know how much that is. I'm not willing to wait and find out. So we're updating lighting, replacing ballast, checking wiring while everything's apart.
Okay, anything else for Matt? All right, thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
And the fire chief is here tonight. Kenny.
Good evening. I do need to make one amendment to my report. In my report, I put down that St. John Manor Apartments Knox box had been ordered. We actually installed it and filled with the keys the other day, so their Knox box is in operation also too. Does anybody have any questions?
How are you doing on, is in your report, staff? You need 2.
We still need 2. We have 2 empty slots. I have one that's trying to tender his resignation. I'm trying to hang on to him as long as I can. And I have one that is taking a leave of absence for a little bit for personal reasons. So I've actually got 4 spots I could fill right now if I had people. We've been fortunate. We pulled on a few newer guys who are all participating in the firefighter 1 and 2 class. I've got 5 guys in that class right now. So we'd still gladly accept applications from anybody that's interested, and we could fill a few spots immediately.
Do you have any experience with the AEDs? You work.
Yeah, we actually have 2 of them on our department too, on trucks in the firehouse. The Zoll AEDs that they're talking about is on a state bid, is where that price came up. That's a statewide bid. The AEDs that are Zoll models are compatible with the ambulance district too. So once the pads are placed on the AED models, whenever the ambulance gets there, all they have to do is disconnect the AED and plug their paddles right in. They don't have to switch anything over. It's all works together. It's intercompatible.
That'd probably be a good idea to go with that.
It would be my recommendation that we keep everything in a continuity. There are some other units out there. I think Mississippi Lime has a different version, and they all work. They all do what they're supposed to, but the compatibility would be the best thing for the Zolls, which is also what the PD carries.
It's what we were trained on too.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
That sounds like that's got something.
The other is they do service them for us. I mean, you mentioned the pads, but they also, we have to buy the batteries, but they'll change them out and make sure everything's working the way it's supposed to.
All right.
Kenny, you want to go out for bids to replace the motor?
Yes. In the 1992 Grumman, that step van that we have, we've had that truck for numerous years. It started out as a Eagle Snacks delivery van, so it was delivering potato chips and everything light.
Oh, is that the same van?
Yeah.
Is it?
Same one.
Oh, my goodness.
And now, because we carry turnout gear and everything else on there, it's got a lot bigger load. The 6.2 diesel was GM's first attempt at a diesel, and it worked for its time, but there's been a lot of improvements. And the 6.2 has kind of gone by the wayside. We're requesting to go out for bids for replacement with a 6.5, have it installed for us. You should have had a letter in there from Eddie Swigert. I had him come and evaluate it, and it's his recommendation also to replace it from a 6.2 to a 6.5. It had minimal switch over, so it would be an easy swap. And like I said in my report, the reason I'm asking for a crate motor is so we can order it, have it sitting there, and the truck will have the minimal amount of downtime.
Sometimes get a warranty.
Yeah, that's,
Do we
that
need
would
to
be my
make-
recommendation.
Do we need to do anything about this? Okay.
Okay, it's in the
The
budget.
big thing here was I was asking for approval to go ahead with the bid process.
Go for it.
Okay. While I'm here, does anybody have any questions about my last month's report on the end of the year summary of calls or anything like that?
Now, you will have to approve the purchase, though, once we get the bids.
Yeah.
Because it's over 5,000.
Any other questions?
Do you anticipate who may be involved with the bidding process?
We're going to try to keep it local if possible. We don't have a whole lot of people that deal with small engines, but we'll put it out for bids in the paper like we are required to do. I'll also try Clark Diesel down in Brewer, does a lot of diesel work, and we'll try to get a few other diesel mechanics, but obviously to go out local here too.
We need that one. My husband went on a call in a truck one day, thought he was gonna have to get out and push.
It does its job and it gets there, but that is probably the second most important truck we have, because other than EMS and brush calls, that carries our turnout coats, helmets and boots and everything. And the longer it takes for that truck to get there, the longer it is before we can actually start putting somebody's house fire out. So, very important truck to our operation.
Well, it's got a lot of equipment on it that we gotta get ready for.
Yeah.
I mean, like, well, thermal imager for one thing, and,
Yeah.
there's a lot on there.
Okay. Thank you for your time, and I'll start on the
Well,
bid
thanks for
process.
being here, and thanks for the free exchange of information.
Good job, Kenny. Real good job.
Okay. Any other reports from anybody? All right. Minutes from February the 11th.
Public comments.
Oh,
Public comment.
that's it then?
You always
I did. All right, I'm sorry. Public comments, anyone? Anybody? Wow. Good. Glad I skipped it then. Yeah, all right. Minutes from February the 11th, regular meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the closed session from February the 11th.
I read it, I know you.
Yeah, don't. Oh, motion to approve. Oh, I see.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Treasurer's report from January.
Move approval.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Resolution 2016-07, resolution reappointing Kathy Waltz to the St. Genevieve Tourism Tax Commission.
Move to second.
Where's Joe and Beth? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 2016-08, a resolution reappointing Frank Myers to the St. Genevieve Heritage Commission.
Move approval. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Resolution 2016, number 9, a resolution reappointing Jamie Bowman to the St. Genevieve Heritage Commission.
Motion to approve. Second.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 2016, number 10, a resolution of the City of St. Genevieve, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to execute a property maintenance agreement with Janice Warden.
Janice, you just want one side of the property, or you want both sides?
I think the other one, side of the property?
Yeah.
To the south, isn't that thought that was under another one.
No, I think she's the one. Did you put that little gardening last summer?
No, that's Bonnie Samuelson. Yeah,
Okay,
I don't think
right.
that one's open.
Okay, all right. All right.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Resolution 2016-11, a resolution of the City of St. Genevieve, Missouri, stating intent to apply for a planning grant from SEMO Regional Planning Commission to revise the city's comprehensive plan in an amount not to exceed $8,000.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Old business, bill number 4087, second reading.
An ordinance approving a budget amendment to the City of St. Genevieve fiscal year 2016 budget relating to the federal levy fund budget number 45 and the capital improvements fund number 70.
Move approved.
Second.
Joe. Roll call.
Alderman Rozika?
Yes.
Alderman Prince?
Yes.
Alderman Don Stupi?
Yes.
Alderman Hook?
Yes.
Alderman Jokers?
Yes.
Alderman John Stupi?
Yes.
Alderman Couch?
Yes.
Alderwoman Codwell?
Yes.
8 yes, 0 no's. Bill number 4087 now becomes ordinance 4026.
Thank you. Bill number 4090, second reading.
An ordinance approving a bid proposal from Seidner Environmental Services, St. Louis, Missouri, for a new polymer feed system at the water plant in an amount not to exceed $6,811.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Alderman Jokers?
Yes.
Alderman John Stupi?
Yes.
Alderman Couch?
Yes.
Alderwoman Codwell?
Yes.
Alderman Hook?
Yes.
Alderman Donnie
Yes.
Stupi? Alderman Prince?
Yes.
Alderman Rozika?
Yes.
8 yes, 0 no's. Bill number 4090 now becomes ordinance 4027.
Thank you. New business, bill number 4091, first reading.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement for professional services with Toth and Associates of Springfield, Missouri for sanitary sewer manhole GPS.
Making a motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Bill number 4092, first reading.
An ordinance amending Chapter 235 Parks and Recreation by adding Article 4 Dog Park, Section 236.010 Rules and Regulations to the St. Genevieve Municipal Code.
I'm so glad to see we can't have dogs in heat down there. I've been worried about that.
Who's checking?
Oh, I think you would know.
At your job.
Yeah, you would know. Hey, why did you say that?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Bill number 4093, first reading.
An ordinance of the City of St. Genevieve, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement between the City of St. Genevieve and the St. Genevieve Municipal Band.
Jimmy's here tonight if anybody has any question.
Yeah, I'm here for any questions.
I got a question.
Jimmy, would you stand up and go to the microphone?
Tell us who you are.
I'm Jim Dicey, I'm the president of the St. Genevieve Municipal Band.
In the future, is there going to stay at the Valley Desert?
That's our plan, yes.
That's an awful hot, tedious for the musicians and for the bands.
Actually, the past few summers, it hasn't been that bad. The last concert, when we were putting equipment away, the mosquitoes kind of tore us up a little bit, but other than that, the past two summers has been fine.
Well, I mean, it's the summer. It's going to be hot.
It's going to be hot.
And it wouldn't be more comfortable on musicians to use the new building at the school or to try to figure?
Well, the PAC Center we use only as rain dictates.
I love to listen to you guys. I love to watch the band play and be there and listen to it. But when it's really hot, I don't love it enough to go down there and sit through it.
A thing with the PAC Center is that it's not always available. So,
Well, I'm just
that's,
asking if that is, if the heat in your schedule is any consideration in your schedule.
not usually, only unless it's, a rain event. And,
I think that just holds a lot of people back. This is tax money that we need to make sure touches as many people as possible.
Actually,
And I think that really has a small audience. When I go down there, I see how many people are there compared to trying to do something to affect more people here in town.
actually, in the past, we have done a few concerts up at the PAC Center when it first opened, and our crowds were smaller at the PAC Center than they were at the city, at the Valley Desert.
What do you attribute that to?
I don't know, everybody's just,
People don't like change.
just sit out in your lawn.
exactly, I think it's the,
I would too.
Yeah,
you bring a
September.
it's
cooler and
the tradition of
snacks.
sitting at the Valley Desert in their lawn chairs is a big thing.
I understand that's a tradition, but let me tell you, we put a lot of money. All this tax money goes to you guys every year. You gotta worry about touching the most people with these tax dollars. That's why there is a tax, that's why there is a ban. I'm all for tradition, and I really do enjoy, I think it's wonderful that you get people from all over the place to come and be in the St. Jim Muni Band. I think it's really cool that we have a Muni Band. But I'm gonna ask you to open your horizons a little bit and step out of the box and try to figure out some ways to affect more people than just those concerts. And I recognize the tremendous work that goes in to prepare for one of your concerts. But I look at that tax money and I look at the crowd, and we got to figure out a way to either get more people to come to that or put some of that money in other places so it can be utilized by some other groups.
Well, we do spread the money out. We, through our grant program, we give out a lot of
That
money.
grant program was developed right here at this table. We told you guys you were going to do this. And I mean, I want to see the band take some kind of credit for doing something really good for our community. It's wonderful, the performances are wonderful, but it just doesn't touch a lot of people, I don't think.
Tom, if they go to the PAC and there's less people there, then...
No, I'm not saying, I'm only suggesting that you look at opportunities to increase the amount of people that the money that we gain through the tax system touches the most people.
Well, we did have two German band concerts scheduled for a couple of the nursing homes. We were going to have them for one of their barbecues, and they've got rained out. So we couldn't move it inside because we're way too loud for them. So we like to try to keep that stuff outside. So we got rained out, they canceled us, so.
You know, I've been at a Muni Band board meeting where they've been trying to figure out other places they can go, other places they can play. So if anybody has any ideas, please tell them. If you have specific ideas.
Well, that would be great information coming back from the band to us. I didn't know that you were trying to do it.
I have a real problem with, and Jimmy, I like you, you're a nice guy. I have a real problem when you sit down, you put a pencil and paper to this. For a 45-minute concert at the Valley Desert, you're paying $4,000 for a 45-minute concert. Is that a good way to spend our money? I mean, that's what it's costing by the time you divide up what
You
they
want a full
want.
band, that's what it costs.
$4,000?
What do they get per week? I forget what
It's a pretty complicated little system you got, isn't it?
I'm not really sure what they get each week.
Based on how many practices you get to.
Yes.
You get X.
What's the high amount that an individual band member, not a leader, could make if they made all the practices and all, just a rough number? What I'm driving for is, I appreciate this time, I really do. I love the band. I'll be in the paper tomorrow that I hate band. I don't hate band. I just wanted the band to be more, I don't know, accessible, or the music to be more accessible, somehow promoted better, or something different.
Jimmy, we talked last year, you were here at this time. We talked about doing some different things with some of that money to get something started for young kids in town. we always get the brunt of, we never do anything for young kids. We never do anything. So we talked about taking some of this money and maybe putting on a concert for young kids or something somewhere in the desert. And that got nowhere, did it?
No, our concern was what kind of element do you want at the desert? I mean, we have to ask permission to do something like that at Valley Desert,
We
so.
got parks all over town and. How about the 4th Friday Art Walk people? Are you participating with that event? I don't want to beat the band up, so I'm going to stop talking about it, but I have just a little frustration that maybe I just don't hear back from you guys what all you are doing. But for some, it's an awful lot of money and I wish it touched more people.
We've offered to Sandy down at the Welcome Center for her music on St. John on Saturdays, if she would like the German band to give us at least a month or two notice, because it takes time to get these guys together, because this is
How about
outside.
just like paying a guy with a cello to sit there and make some music all afternoon? You know, I mean, that seems like that'd be a better way to spend our money than to have to plan for 2 months to go and play at the community, at the...
And we do give money to the Welcome Center, we give money to the Downtown Renewal Project, we give money for the St. John Christmas Festival, we spread the money out.
And that money goes to things like the cello player
The
on
Jurda
corner,
Fett,
saxophone
the
player on
Jurda Fett
corner.
gets a
Yeah,
big
but they're
chunk.
not going out and finding and getting the cello players from the corner. They're administrating money to whoever wants some of it. I'm going to leave you be, and I'm certainly not mad, and it's not personal, but it just seems like a lot of money that should touch more people. And up to only a few years ago, there was no scholarship or grant program. You know, so all that money was being spent that way. And it's just something that seems like it's taboo to have a conversation about, but I think we need to have a conversation about what the future is for the Union Band, and how the city can support it, help it, and how we can grow events and festivals here in town and just live music for tourism.
When is your next board meeting?
We have one scheduled for the 6th because we have the grant program.
And where do you meet?
We've been meeting at Ciro's.
Sounds like a great place for this discussion to happen.
So, okay.
Jim, I want to pat you on the back. I look at you like, okay, let's say the Cardinal baseball. You can't go by how many people go to the game. Look at all the people watching on TV. 991, don't you video it?
Oh, yeah, they're there every now and then.
Yes, they're there every week.
How many, we have no idea. You talk about touching people. You might touch a zillion on the air.
Probably a little less than a zillion.
Well, you go on. You can't judge crowds because they're getting a lot and they're doing a good job too. And I guess I'm gonna touch on one thing. Are the same people always applying for the grants?
Yes, and
You try spreading it out more, or you?
yes, we had that discussion at our meeting 2 weeks ago. We met on a Friday night, and a lot of the grant money goes to the same places, and some of the grants that we've been getting for the past few years, we feel that aren't really benefiting the community at all, so we're going to try to change that up a little bit and maybe deny some of those and give the money elsewhere.
Jim, are you ending up with more grant requests than you've got money for?
We usually try to fill each request, if we can give them $100, $200, we try to give them something.
Okay.
How many of your band members are from St. Genevieve? Is it like almost all of them?
90%.
Yeah, most of them get paid.
Most of them are. Our criteria for the band is, if you're an adult and live in the city or the county of St. Genevieve, you have first choice. After that, we go to past college students that had played in the band in the past. And then if we have any seats open, then we go for the honors band members first. And then if the seats still aren't filled, then we go to, you have to be going into your sophomore year in high school to fill the rest of the seats. We actually have a few extra that we don't fill, and we've asked those kids to, if they would be interested in being alternates, so we can at least seat 70 members every week to give us a full band.
So would you say a lot of these ones that are from other communities are ones that used to live here?
Some of them have, yes, and some have moved away.
Right.
Yeah, and they keep coming back. So that's another thing that we look at is how many years have they played in the band and that sort of thing. So we don't really want to deny those either.
Yeah. Some of them drive pretty far.
Would you repeat the time and date for your meeting?
Right now, it's tentative for March 6th. It's on Sunday. It'll be a Sunday afternoon.
Time?
We haven't determined that yet.
Could you let us know the time?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any of the instruments still owned by the city?
Yes, there are a few.
Do we know what they are? I mean, you've got them, I mean, do you know what they are, Martin? Said it's a city property.
They're stored downstairs.
Okay, it'd be nice if we had some type of,
Inventory?
yeah.
I don't think they're itemized on our list of,
Well, it just makes regular good sense to make sure we know what we own. Whether it's in Dave's
How long have
shop.
we owned these?
Pardon me?
How long have we owned these instruments, the city?
You know, Rick, I'm not quite sure.
Some of them forever.
A lot of them, yeah, we've owned for a long time. The bass drum, some of the instruments were bought before I became president, and I know we haven't bought any instrumentation since I became president.
Sandra, didn't you have?
I was just going to suggest maybe in response to Alderman Couch's inquiries and suggestion, perhaps I could meet with the muni band or with Jim and make some suggestions to them.
My only suggestion is to, and it sounds like you're doing some of it that I was unaware of, reach out and find ways to spend that money where it touches a lot of people. And it's like anything else that we do. If it takes us 2 months to prepare for an event, I mean, that's a lot of trouble for the musicians and for coordinating and for getting everything moved around. I understand that. That's a heck of a lot of trouble. We could maybe spend the same amount of money and get more mileage out of it. That's what I was getting at.
Joe, do you have a comment?
No, when you were talking about the grant program, I was wondering if any grants had gotten turned down, or requests had gotten turned down. I know in the years past, it seemed like most of them at least got a little something.
Yeah, we've turned, I think on the last round, we've turned one down.
But for the most part, a lot of the requests get funded, at least partially.
Yes, somebody gets something. The last one we turned down, I think, was for the county fair. They asked for some money, and one of our requirements is that they put us in their advertisement as a sponsor. And when we looked through their advertisement, we weren't listed anywhere, so.
Free and open to the public too.
So we denied, that was the only one that I recollect since I've been doing this that we've denied money to.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Jimmy.
Thank you.
I got one more question. Is there just more than one night? Because you guys probably practice also.
We practice on Tuesdays.
Every Tuesday?
During the summer. I think the first practice is the May 17th, and we will practice twice before the first concert. So we'll practice on the 17th, the 24th, and then the concert will be on the 26th of May, is the tentative schedule right now.
Where do you practice?
We practice up St. John Public High School.
It's probably more than 45 minutes.
They practice for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'd just like to say thank you. You guys are a huge asset to the community, and you do a great job, and I watched you all, and it's a lot of work.
Thank you.
You know, it's not just showing up and making noise. There's a lot of planning that goes into it. I've watched you move all that equipment in and out many times.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Jim.
Do we have a motion?
No, I did not.
Okay, move to approve.
John. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Other business, approval of a liquor license for Sajarski's?
Yeah, that place.
How do you pronounce that, Gary?
How did I do?
Sagittarius.
Oh, wow, okay.
Oh, that was close.
Might be a warning, since we couldn't have us figure it out.
10A South 3rd Street for the sale of intoxicating liquor of all kinds, not including Sunday sales.
I make a motion approved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approval of the use of Main Street Park and street closure of the intersection of Main and Jefferson for the opening ceremony of the Art of Women's Health 5K Run Walk on Friday, April the 22nd, 2016.
I see nothing wrong with this. Chief, do you see any problem with this?
No, sir.
Okay, I make a motion for approval. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And approval of a road closure request for the St. Genevieve Community Center for the Night Glow 5K to be held on Saturday, April 9th, 2016.
I make a motion for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Anything else, anybody?
Motion to,
Adjourn.
adjourn. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I was gonna get.
Thank you.
Well, I'm sure glad you jumped in here, because I